What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. This is part 2 of the well-built 1860 big boat, big build. Now, episode 1 literally just dropped last night. It's doing great. I do appreciate all you guys checking that out. And I'm glad that you guys are interested in this one because it's going to be a really badass project. Now, in the last episode, we got all of the framework in here. Since then, we did a little bit of sheeting up in the face of, this vertical walls and stuff in here. I'll show you guys that in just a second. This episode, we are getting ready to start putting these new gunnel caps on here. Now, these well builds come with these round pipe caps. I hate them. I mean, they're good for structure, but they suck for mounting stuff on. You can't really stand on them, and they're just kind of ugly in my opinion. And I do have a 1x3 rectangular tube that actually has a rounded corner on it, so it's going to be pretty neat. I'm going to show you guys how we do that. We're going to cut it and basically take 1.25 inch gap out of the center of it, and we're going to drop it right over the top of this existing gunnel. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to run this in one piece. We're going to try, but it's just not going to happen. This thing bows out and up, and there's no way we can do this in one piece, but we're going to end up having some seams in here. This thing's going to be sweet. I've done this to a couple of well builds, never anything of this size, but I guarantee you we're going to figure it out, and it's going to look badass. I'm going to turn this camera around. We're going to get right into it. All right, guys, so check it out. This is what we put in here yesterday afternoon. These vertical walls in here, it looks really cool the way we did it because it's just one piece that bends around here. We do have one in the back. It's like a backer piece, like a channel we set in there. It basically just has an 1.5 inch lip on it to catch this one when it comes in and dead ends into the corner. Look, you can see that right there. And it worked out really well. It's going to be cool having all this like one piece on this corner. I think it really finishes it off nicely. And also went ahead and put this piece in on this side. Just a little vertical wall. The one on that side we're not going to install permanently yet, but that's basically everything we've gotten done since the last video. I'm getting ready to start cutting this tubing. Now, these gunnel caps, I mean, I don't know. It's just, they're not my favorite. And then it's going to be a little difficult because you can see how this one slopes down so much because this was short. Well, it's not short transom. It's a 20-inch transom, but it's just got extra long gunnels on it. So we're going to have to cut into this big time. I mean, we're going to have to cut this straight across here. Those of you that have been following the channel for a while, you've seen me do this. I did this on Project X. I did this on Neptune 4 years ago. I'm not new to doing this. It's just going to be a little bit tricky with this rig because it's so big. But yeah, we got to cut this out and basically leave a spot for our 3x1 tube to sit in here, and we're going to run it all the way up. That's going to give us the ability to run our LED light strips up underneath both sides, and obviously on top of it, it's going to have a flat section where you can walk. Might even get some turf for it or paint. I'm just going to get paint. We might end up putting some turf on top of this thing. Regardless, it's going to be sick. My 3x1 tubing is all the way up there in the very back, so it's going to be fun getting that down. We're going to get that out, though, and then we're going to use this table saw right here. We've got a Diablo blade in there, and what we're basically going to do is set this up with our guide. We have another piece clamped here, and we're going to try to run that entire 20-foot stick through here. And we're going to cut out a section in the middle. It's about 1.25 inches. I'm gonna put you guys on the hyperlapse. Let's get back to work. So check it out. That table saw killed this. Now this kind of sketch, so I don't recommend that you guys try this at home. Austin and I are trained professionals. So look, this is a little test piece we cut first. Look at that fit though. It's tight. It's exactly what we wanted. Drops right on there. Gives a nice tight fit on there. A little bit of play, but that's perfectly fine. And once we get, these pieces up here, we'll come back and we'll put welds, basically where these welds are at, they look like shit, we'll put some nice pretty ones right next to it. All the way down, staggered, probably every 2 feet, whatever, there's one here and there. They're probably about 2 feet. But now we got to start with our first piece. Probably start in the back, but you can see we drop this on here like that. Then we can draw our straight edge here. We're going to cut this all the way out, and then we'll run our piece all the way up to here, and then we'll cut it back at that angle That way we can keep the same look and that angle with that face right there. Then we'll run it all the way back. Same thing with the back. I think we're probably gonna start back here first though, honestly. I don't know. Just seems like it would be easier to start back here and then work our way up, because this is the straightest portion of the boat. And I think that we could probably get away with like an 8-foot straight, and then we're gonna have to have a seam, and then maybe 2 more seams up front. When I did King Neptune and Project X, we only had 2 seams, 3 pieces. We had like an 8-footer and like 2 4-footers. Oh, I don't know. This boat's a little bit bigger and has a little bit more of a flair to it. We'll see what we can do. We're gonna start back here, getting this thing cut out. We're gonna go ahead and do one side, and we cut one 20-foot tube up, actually 24-foot tube up. So we're gonna have some drop, but not enough to do that side. But I wanna go ahead and get this side finished out before we start cutting any more of this tube up and wasting it. But anyways, if you guys are interested in getting some of this, I will sell you this. I gotta put a number on it. It'll be by the foot, and we'll cut it like that for you. But you can see this one has the rolled corners on it. I just think that will look a whole lot better as a gunnel cap. And this is what I used before. It's got the square corner. It's not terrible. It's perfectly fine, but I saw that they had this available, so I thought this would be cool to try out. I'm gonna put you guys back on a hyperlapse. We're gonna get back to work. Check it out, man. It looks so cool. This new gunnel cast, man, it's just a whole different game changer. Makes it look like a completely different boat. Really changed the look of the whole thing. I like it a lot. The back end turned out really good. Also need some nice welds on here. Super pumped that's done. This thing is really starting to look cool. Now, we're waiting on our hatch track to get here. Probably not gonna be here till tomorrow. So we can't make any hatches yet, but we do have to figure out the seat base, this recessed foot pedal tray, and this motor. Now, it's not a whole lot of space up here. It is 48 inches right here across this front, so it's decent, but look at the size of this trolling motor, guys. I mean, this is a monster. I've never actually seen one of these in person. It's 6 feet long. It is gigantic though. So we're gonna have to pull this out of here and set this up on the deck just so we can get an idea of how it's gonna mount. I mean, I have humongous hands, but dude, this thing is a beast. Never seen one this big. You'll get a lot better feel for how big it actually is once we set it up on the front of that boat. But yeah, 6 feet shaft on this thing, guys. Crazy. I'm gonna put you guys on the hyperlapse. We're gonna get this thing up there and stage it up, take some pictures, and figure out how we want to mount it, because I like to have it kicked off at an angle so it deploys in the center, but might have to go on the side. I mean, 6 foot, regardless if we put it up here, it's gonna hang over the side. And if we put it up here, well, we're looking at easily covering this hatch and being damn close to hitting the lid on this one when it's stowed. So we got some figuring to do. I'll put you guys on the hyperlapse. Let's get back to work.
Bye.
Check it out. This thing is looking awesome. What a monster. Cool build, man. We got everything laid out the way we need it for the whole layout of the rig. And now I'm at the point where I can get this whole thing scanned for the CNC turf that's going in here. And that's the main stage of what we wanted to get done right now. By making all these hatches and getting everything in here, we get the scan, and then it's going to take a little while for them to take that scan and make it a reality and send us the turf. So while the turf is being made, then we're going to take all these hatches out and take these to the powder coaters. And these hatches are going to be going to get a white powder coat on them, which I think is a good idea. And the turf is going to kind of match that and offset that with the guy's colorway he's got. You guys will see that in the next episode. But wow, man, what a cool project. This top gunnel cap we put on here, it really changes the whole look of it. And we pretty much built an entire boat, with the exception of the hull. Looks super aggressive. We made this mount up here at a quarter plate because that big Kraken motor that's going on there, it's really not as heavy as some of the other trolling motors are, but it's just gigantic, and the mount on it's huge. So I wanted to make sure that thing was going to be heavy duty and strong for him and not give him any issues. Got this recessed foot pedal in here. We had to add supports in here. It looks kind of crazy inside of here. Look, I mean, they got all kinds of stuff jack-legged in there. And if you look at this piece right here, we did not put that cross piece in there, nor did we put that one in there. But look how crooked this one is. I mean, they just threw it in there and slapped some welds on it. And the welds they put on it were kind of suspect, to be honest with you. But we did come back and we welded an angle up here, and we put this angle across the 3 ribs right here. We cut these 2 out, and the one back there, it actually goes underneath that too and rivets up into it. And that's just to help keep all this stuff nice and straight. And Austin came back and welded, like a 1-inch bead on the face of these. And there's also a rivet up inside of there. Not that one, but this one right here. The rivet there, and a rivet into the back one, and then this one is welded here and to this angle here and riveted to it. So good and strong. Same thing, just like that on the other side. And there's a lot of room inside of there. And basically we need to have this access right here to get up in here, because that's quite a stretch to put the bolts in here. And the way that this trolling motor mount is going to attach to it, we're going to have one bolt through here, which is going to be easy, accessible right here. And then we're going to have another one inside of here, actually 3 inside of here, 1, 2, and 3. And then these 2 will be through here and accessible from the outside. So we got to have that access to get up in there to put these 3 bolts in there. And it's a stretch, I'm not gonna lie to you. I got long arms. I've already reached up in there and tried to figure it out, and it's gonna be fun when we get to that stage. You can see we added some extra rivets up in here, and this is basically another piece of channel in here, because from this rib right here all the way up, there was no support in here. And even before we cut this hole, this thing was just popping, bouncing up and down, like a 1/2 inch of play in it. It was loud. You step on it, it'll creak. So we added a piece of channel underneath there, and it just shot the rivets from the top down into it. And I mean, it's pretty sturdy now. It's gonna be perfectly fine. Build turned out really cool though. I mean, I'm digging that side gunnel, man. That thing just, it looks so aggressive. We did a killer job the way we kept these angles on here. This all kind of runs back and out, and look at it from the side. You can see what I'm talking about. Looks really good. Austin laid some dimes on there, all over this thing.
Yes, sir.
And look at those welds. He might know a thing or two about welding. I'm gonna hop up in here and we'll show you guys what we got going on. This is a big boat, man. Let's check it out. Oh, this is your view sitting on the back bench. Now, if it was up to me, we have a 90 tiller on here. This thing will be so crazy. He is going to be putting an electric outboard on it, or I should say we are going to be putting an electric outboard on it, but You see how we got everything laid out now. Once we get all these hatches out of here and off to the powder coaters, then I'm gonna clean this boat up and we're gonna paint it. Only part of the boat you're really gonna see is from the deck right here up to the top of this gunnel, and everything else is gonna be turfed, so you're not really gonna see much of it. But this whole thing turned out really cool. Step and this live well, I like that. It's got a good sized live well in there too. Now we do have to come back and put a little piece inside of here to finish off this corner and that corner, but I can do that after we get it scanned. I just really want to get this thing ready for the scan. I might even bring like a little piece up and then back underneath this hatch. That's what I was kind of thinking, because I don't really like that edge right there. So 1.5 inches up, 1.5 inches back. That will give us a smooth corner here. This is like a main, step where he's going to be going from the transitioning from deck heights. I like to have that rolled, especially with the CNC cut turf, because more than likely we're going to get a piece cut that's going to stick on the face and a piece that's going to stick here. Now a lot of times in the builds, I'll wrap that corner, and this would be fine if I was going to wrap it, but I like it to be a nice smooth outside edge, because you might see, an 1/8 or 1/4 inch of that metal in between those two pieces of the turf that are going to go in there. But that's small stuff, guys, small potatoes. Gigantic front deck on this thing. Let's check out some of these compartments. So port and starboard, we have the same rod locker, and these turned out really cool. Now none of these hatches are attached, obviously, but that's what you got. Nice big rod lockers. These rod lockers are 7'6" on the inside and about 6'7", something like that on the outside. I think it might even be like 7'8". They're pretty good size. And then in front of that, we built them a day box. I really like these hatches. These are like 2.5 inches deep, and this gives them room for, cold tags or some of the tackle that he's going to be using and stuff, cell phone, whatever, just to keep it up off the deck and know it's safe. Mirror image, same thing, port and starboard, everything's symmetrical. Same exact thing with the rod locker. Not gonna fall off the deck. Only difference with this rod locker, as you can see, we got that hole in there. The whole reason for that is for access, because this is the side of his live well right here, and it was a pain in the you-know-what to get down there and make that bracket and weld it. That's like a Z-piece that comes down and underneath the live well, and it's welded on either side and welded here, and I got rivets into it. And that's basically just to help keep that live well stationary and not put any tension on it once it's full of water. We don't want any tension going onto our floor drain that's inside of that live well, so we're attaching it here. But yeah, inside of here now, we're gonna have pumps and stuff in here that he's gonna have to access eventually to change the cartridges out on. So this is gonna be a sheet that sits in here, and the way I'm gonna do that is I'll probably put this sheet in and then turf over it, and then I'll come back and cut it, and that way we can just take this whole piece out and it'll already be turf, and it'll just have like 4 or 6 screws around the perimeter that can be removed to access these pumps, because these pumps are not something you're going to have to access very often. I mean, they'll probably last you at least a year. I mean, some of them I've had in my boat for 4 or 5 years and they're still working, so you never know. It's just one of those things. But to be able to take these out with a Phillips head screwdriver, if you had to, and get in there and change it out, it'd take you about 20 minutes to do it. So I think that's our best scenario. I thought about doing one of these on the other side too, but I don't think we're going to need it, because we got access in here and the live well's already attached on that side and in here, so I think it's more than enough. Then we still got to figure out the internals of this hatch, because this one is super deep. But look, you can see, I mean, we're talking 30 inches almost from this rib up here. Lots of room inside of here. And I was kind of holding off on putting this last piece in here until I can get up in here and drill some holes in here with the hole saw. I'll be doing that shortly. I need to put that on both sides over here, because once I put this floor piece in here, then I'm going to put side pieces on it, obviously, and it's going to be blocked off. And this is our only access point right now to pull wires through up in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run a fish tape with a wire up in the recessed foot pedal tray, and I'm going to pull it one on either side back and into this compartment right here, and probably on back and into that side compartment right there. That way, if I have to pull any wires back, I have a fish tape and I can do it easily, because it's going to be pretty difficult to fish any wires up, through this bench in here and all the way up there. Now, with this side having the access in there, a little bit easier, but still not ideal. But the coolest hatch in this whole boat is this big one right here. Now, as you saw earlier, this one does have dual gas pistons on it. I already took them off. We're going to take them to the powder coaters, but you can see the brackets are welded onto the sides of it. And this thing is gigantic. I mean, you could literally get inside of here. I'm a big dude, and I could get inside of there and lay down if I had to, but he's going to have all his batteries in there. We're going to have 6 batteries in there, at least 2 tenders that are going in there. And he's probably still going to have some extra room inside of there. But this is definitely my favorite hatch. This thing is heavy duty, and it has no flex in it. People always ask me, can you walk on your hatches? Look at the framework that's on the back of this hatch. You can put a 400-pound guy up here, no problem. It's perfectly fine. I like that hatch, so it's probably one of the biggest ones we built. But look, this ain't no flex at all. Nice. All right, so let's check out this back deck real quick, and then we got to get back to work, guys. Back bench, pretty simple. 2 hatches. We do them like this pretty much all the time. It makes the most sense. Did put the floor in there. He's got room for storage. Now I will have to put a seat base in here and cut the hole for that before we get it scanned, but that's only going to take a couple minutes. We'll get that wrapped up. Well, look, you got lots of room inside of here. Lots of storage. You're sweet. And then the last hatch, the transom hatch. And the way this one worked out is pretty cool, because we did this cutout for the gusset, for the transom gusset, and he's got a handle port and starboard. But see if I can open this one up with one hand. There we go. And inside of here, it's just wide open. Now, I don't really know what he's planning on doing with this area back here yet, because he doesn't have a gas tank or anything. So, but yeah, that's a nice hatch. This thing is big, lots of space in there. And you see, it's kind of hard to close it right now, because what happens with these hatches is when you cut through this frame, it wants to suck this in. And when we install this permanently, we'll have to clamp this back, because it needs to come back about a ½ an inch. Shoot those rivets in there. See how it pulls pressure on it? Well, not a big deal. Let's put a little spacer in between the hatch and the frame, and then when we install it, it'll have the clearance that it needs. All in all though, man, we're getting there, guys. Super close. As soon as we get this thing scanned, then we're going to start finishing up all the internals, pulling some wires and stuff, and getting this thing painted. And we'll be ready for the wrap. Episode 3 should be really cool though. All right, big boat, big build. Well built, 1860, brand new boat. This thing is a monster, guys. 30-inch gunnels, new gunnel caps. Look at that layout. Shit is going to be something else when it's all said and done. My favorite part of the whole build is that it belongs to Shane Flint Outdoors. Go check him out on YouTube. Give him a like and a follow, because you guys are not going to want to miss when he starts fishing out of this thing. I'm looking forward to seeing the content myself. I think it's cool that we build a boat, and then a lot of times when we get done with our builds, they're gone. Well, when it's another fellow YouTuber that's going to have content made out of the boat, it just makes it that much cooler, because I'm going to get to see the boat all the time on his channel. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Hit that like, subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what y'all think about the video. I'll see you on the next one. Let's get back to work.